my people. And if you're watching live, checking us out on YouTube, or listening on your favorite podcast provider, you are most definitely my people. Welcome to another episode of Botch Pods and Chair Shots. We still have high hopes of delivering quality game wrestling content, and if not, we'll sprinkle in whatever the fuck we want, because it's our show and we do what we want. I'm your host, Chef by Trade and Mark by Choice. I am the Will Gray, and joining me tonight, he is everybody's favorite Ginger Ninja. He is the co-host of the Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. He is co-host of Nerdy News at 420. He is co-host of Boyfriend Time. It's our boy Jax. Jax, how are you?
After this weekend, well, I'm doing great.
Good. I'm glad you're doing well. Al's here. Mike is here. Scowls is here. Shayna's here. Everybody is here. Yeah, I'm in a tank top, Mike. I'm in some Georgia bullshit. I'm really, really fucked up over it. And perched upon her iron throne in the Boss Bitch's corner is the Hova to my Beyonce, the Bonnie to my Clyde. She's the brains behind Rivet City Radio. It's the Boss Bitch Al. Al, how are you?
I'm super duper.
Good. Well, thanks for stopping by, everybody. I hope you're having a good night. Make sure to hit that follow and like button wherever you're watching and while you're tuning in. But guys, it's just the three of us tonight. I always start the same way, so tonight's no different. What has you pissed off for greatness in the world of pro wrestling? What has you the most worked up? Good, bad, or indifferent?
Jax, do you want to go first, or I can go first?
Ladies first. I'm a gentleman.
I know we're going to talk about this more a little later, but I just would like to say I love a good death match. Hi, Katie. Don't get me wrong. I love a good street fight, good death match. I draw the line at drinking someone else's blood and then like spitting it to the air. That was a little much. Like, I thought Jon Moxley had bloody matches. Nah. Like, Jon Moxley's matches look tame compared to that Adam Page Swerve Strickland match. I mean, it was a banger, but yeah, I draw the line at putting somebody else's blood in my mouth.
I'm going to save what I have to say for later in the episode about that match. Thanks, Nicole. Matt, it's good to see you.
I'm not yucking any else. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't want to put someone else's blood in my mouth.
Yeah, that's
and
kind of
I just felt like there was a line of a good death match, and then like we went like what's that Psycho one? The one where
Nick Gage.
Huh?
Nick Gage?
No, not Nick Gage. The promotion that's like ridiculous.
XPW?
That one. So there's like Moxley and XPW. That's my gauge. And I feel like this one was like more like towards the XPW than I needed it to be for AW.
Okay. Bo, what you got?
I thought the visual was cool as shit, but at the same time, I don't think it was a smart idea. Like, I just don't think it was. It was kind of like, it was like that's kind of fucking nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it was visually, it was cool. I mean, I now will refer to him as Hangward Cullen.
Yeah.
For the rest of his time.
Hangward Cullen. God, I love that.
Cullen.
Bo, what about you? What has you pissed off for greatness?
Fucking Julia Hart, baby. I am so proud for her. Nothing can take away this fire. And for once, I have to say this. Mark this day down. AEW made the right call.
For sure.
She's on fire. She's pissed everyone in the women's division off. She is your women's division heel. And she's now one of the youngest, I think the youngest person to win a title in AEW.
Maybe.
All right. I don't have a pissed off for greatness. I just don't. So, Al, news and rumors.
I just don't.
First on the docket, Daddy Meltzer mentioned John Cena needing surgery on both elbows after his latest run in WWE, and he speculates that could mean Cena will do a WrestleMania match in the future, but not more than that.
I'm changing. Fuck that.
It's hard. It's hard to see what will sit there and that stuff. I'm a Georgia fan, but if you
changing clothes right now, putting my shirt back on and my UT hat, that felt disgusting. I felt
Well,
like I
and
need to go to Knoxville and pray.
I thank you for that. I thank you for
I
living
don't
up to
care
your
if
end of the
I'm a
bet.
pussy for breaking a bed. I don't
I'm
care.
not. Oh, he can't
He
hear me.
hear you.
I'm commending him. All right, hold on. Before you go any further, sir, I will commend you. You stayed in that shit longer than if you would have sent me a UT hat. All right,
Okay,
so
good.
I commend you on that. I will not call you the P word. I commend you, and I thank you for keeping your end of the bed up.
There you go. All right. Now news and rumors.
Welcome back, Will. It looks
Thank
normal
you.
now.
So I'll just repeat. Daddy Meltzer mentioned John Cena needing surgery on both elbows after his latest run in WWE, and he speculates that could mean that Cena will only do WrestleMania matches in the future and nothing else.
I feel like that's fine. Everything he's done in his career, he doesn't need to show up more than once a year. We don't need him to show up more than once a year.
Is he at Undertaker level now?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I think he is.
Yeah. 100%. If he's still got it in the tank and can still work a match once a year, then I think the biggest place for him to work a match once a year is 100% going to be WrestleMania.
Yeah. WWE's website is advertising Sheamus on November 25th, December 8th, and December 15th episodes of SmackDown, which is an indication that he will be back from injury very soon. Are y'all excited to see Sheamus back?
I will be excited to see Sheamus if it involves him winning the IC title at some point so he can be a career Grand Slam champion. I think if they've handpicked other people to hand it to the way they have in some cases, then I think Sheamus deserves it. So give Sheamus the IC title.
Do you think Sheamus is the one to take the belt off of Gunther?
Absolutely not. I don't think that's him.
Yeah,
I think they'll give that to Chad Gable.
Yeah, I can see it. I want to see before Sheamus's runs over, like Will said, to piggyback off of him. I want to see him become the Grand Slam. Like he has worked his ass off. He was like, what? He was WWE champion within 2 weeks of being with the company.
It was pretty quick, yeah.
And wanted to get Cena was his first win for the title.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like he's always had this like rocket on him. And just spark it up one more time, give him the IC title, let him have a nice long. He doesn't have to be Gunther's streak. He doesn't have to go on and do all these accolades with it. Just let him win the bitch.
Scout says he thinks he's done. He says his contract is coming up. Gave Roman his shortest world title run. He did. Didn't he cash in on that? Wasn't that when he cashed in? Okay. Good talk. We're going to get to Eddie Kingston and the Ring of Honor title up in the Continental Tournament. 5 minutes and 15 seconds at Survivor Series. Yep. So he did. He cashed in and took it from Roman. Sheamus deserves a good IC title run. Give him the Grand Slam title. Give him the roundabout. If Miz could do it 3 times or whatever the fuck it is, like give it to Sheamus at least once.
Agreed. TMZ reporting Nick Hogan, fuck Terry, was recently arrested in Clearwater, Florida. Arrested for DUI, Hogan is no stranger to controversy, pleading no contest in the early 2000s reckless driving DUI that severely injured a friend. And I'm pretty sure Mommy Daddy made him sit in jail in this one.
When I saw the original report yesterday morning, I think, or the day before, when it originally leaked, it said that he hadn't cleared bail yet and was still in his holding cell. So what that says to me is maybe he didn't get necessarily picked up. In the early 2000s, he was involved in a DUI that involved him and a friend who was a Marine. And the friend who was a Marine was injured in the wreck and had like brain damage and shit. And he fully recovered. He came out of it. And the Hogan kid took a plea deal ultimately to stay out of jail. This is one of those, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, I'm going to call it a duck. You know what I mean? This is just a Hogan doing Hogan shit.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize the mugshot for when I first looked at it. I
It
was like,
didn't
"Who
even
is that?"
look like him.
No, I was like, who's that? I had to go back and it didn't wait until the day when I saw it pop in my Twitter feed that I realized it was Hogan's kid. I was like, what happened to him?
He's literally done nothing with his life. He tried to wrestle for like 5 seconds and couldn't hang. And then literally has been living off of his daddy's name his whole life. At least Brooke had a mediocre music career.
Yeah, she did more in wrestling than he did.
Yeah.
For sure.
AEW adds Continental Classic Tournament, adding with it the stipulation that Eddie Kingston's title will be on the line the whole tournament, leading to an AEW Triple Crown champion. Does AEW need another title? And would this mean the winner would hold 3 titles in 3 different companies?
I feel like the idea of having a Triple Crown champion is cool. I think the idea of Eddie Kingston putting his titles on the line for every match that he wrestles is cool. I kind of like, it's very reminiscent of the J Cup, like what Inoki did with all those junior heavyweight and cruiserweight titles in the 90s with Ultimo Dragon. You know what I mean? Where they brought them all together and they had a big tournament and the winner won all 8 belts. I think this is very reminiscent of that. The only difference is Eddie has 2 of the 3 belts that are on the line in the tournament. So unless you beat Eddie in one or before the finals, nobody else holds those belts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's going to be very odd. It either means Eddie's going to lose really early or he's going to be wrestling the last night of the tournament.
I'm going with the latter on that one.
You think he's going to wrestle? Because if he loses it early, then that means that would give them an opportunity to flip those titles a few times before the finals. So do you guys think it's like, which would you rather see as fans, him lose in the first round or him go all the way through the tournament, like the fighting from on top? Because it's hard to be an underdog when you already have the 2 belts, but he's going to have to go through some big names to keep going. So there are some situations where Eddie Kingston's going to be an underdog. Which way would you rather see it happen?
I mean,
sorry.
Since he already has 2 of the belts, I would say that he needs to go the whole way. I think
Mike says he wants to see him win it all.
I agree. Scouts hopes he wins it.
So I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't necessarily think they need another title, though.
No,
I think it's starting to get oversaturated.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I mean, if they do add another title, it should be for the ladies.
The ladies,
I
like a
can do that.
mid-card title?
They have a mid-card title, but they could do something else for the women because they don't have women's tag belts.
So like a mid-Atlantic title for the women's?
No, we could just have a women's tag division.
That too. They do have some pretty good tag teams. And women's.
Well,
Like,
Scott, this would encourage them to use the women that they don't use.
I just don't think they have enough time for all these titles, because if you look at what they have, the AEW World title, the International title, the TNT title, the tag titles, the trios titles, the FTW title. Now they're adding the Continental title on top of it is 7. Okay. Then you add Ring of Honor World title, Ring of Honor TV title, Ring of Honor 6-man titles, Ring of Honor tag titles. That's 11. TBS Women's 13. Like, AEW has 13 titles as of last night's announcement, with 5 hours of TV a week.
Now, is it a championship? I thought it was going to be just one of those like the G1 where it's a trophy, where I won the G1 in 2023.
No, Tony Khan tweeted last night to clarify, because there was kind of a little bit of an uproar in the IWC with everybody as to what he actually meant when he said being a Triple Crown champion and being the Continental champion. And Tony Khan confirmed afterwards that his belts will be on the line every time, and at the end of the tournament, the winner will receive the Continental Championship, making them a Triple Crown champion, a belt from 3 different promotions. They also said that this belt will be defended, the Continental title will be defended throughout all these promotions as well.
Okay.
What's up, Shadow? Cool. So it's going to be kind of a 3-way branded belt. All 3 companies are going to be able to use the champion and have a chance to do it. But I don't know if they will always be combined that way.
Yeah.
So, next.
Brian Alvarez is reporting that Darby isn't going off to climb Mount Everest yet. The AEW star is leaving training to begin training for his trek. Is Darby crazy? I think he is.
I think there's a word. Yeah, no, he's crazy.
Well, there's a better word. I would call Darby manic.
You think he makes these weird ideas because he's losing his mind a little bit, or he's like some weird form of depression or OCD or something? Like, is he doing this as a tick?
I mean, I'm not going to speculate on his mental health.
But to call him manic is exactly what that is, though.
It's manic-like behavior.
Okay, maybe that's that. I will give you that then.
I mean, yeah, AJ says he's an adrenaline junkie, which is a manic-like behavior. I don't know. I mean, my cousin and his husband just did Everest, and you can climb Everest without like doing the whole thing, apparently. So, I mean, he may not be doing the whole thing.
No. There's a difference. Your cousin's hiked to base camp. Darby is going to summit Everest. There's a huge difference between those two things.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, Darby's going to summit Everest.
I mean, he's young. Let him do what he wants to do. I mean, he deserves a break if this is how he wants to spend his vacation time, I suppose. Like, do it too, bro.
This was a rabbit hole I went down at one point. And when you climb Everest, for one, it takes you like a month to do it. Because the acclimation process, because you have to go to base camp. Because keep in mind, I say her cousin hiked to base camp, and I say that. But if you make it to Everest base camp, it puts you above the highest point in any Western Hemisphere mountain. You know what I mean? Like the base camp of Everest is higher than any point in the Western Hemisphere. So you automatically hit a point higher than anywhere in the United States, anywhere in South America, anywhere in Canada. You see what I mean? Like, it's a big deal to base camp. But then you have to acclimate. You have to go to a place called Advanced Base Camp, which is higher than anywhere that isn't in the Himalayas. And then you acclimate to ABC. Then you make your trek to actually summit Everest. Like, it's
almost the very top.
The very top, almost 29,000 feet above sea level. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's not just, I'm going to go hike a mountain. You know what I mean? Like,
That's a big fucking height.
When I lived in East Tennessee, I summited the 3 highest points in the Smoky Mountains. That was something I wanted to do. The highest was the hardest. The 3rd highest was the easiest of the 3, and you just walked a paved path all the way to the top of that one. Like, so that was something cool I wanted to try to do. Realizing that base camp is like 5 or 6 times the height of where I was at is like, holy shit, that's crazy to think about. So, remember Darby was once on an episode of Sent Me to the ER. Darby is from the Jackass generation. He grew up watching Johnny Knoxville and Bam Margera and those guys, and now he's making a living being the new version of Jackass.
And I'm loving every minute of it.
Dude, did you haven't had a chance to watch all of Full Gear yet? So the stuff that I have to talk about from it, I know you've seen or already know. He took a bump where he took a choke slam over the top rope onto I didn't see this one coming, but ladies and gentlemen, the Warden Matt Ritter, without a shirt on, the innovator of podcasts on Pornhub. Everybody, it's Mateo. Matt, how are you?
I'm good. I heard you talking about climbing a mountain or Space Mountain or something like that, and I got really turned on and thought I'd come and join you since you did invite me earlier and I was a little busy.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to make it.
Also, I got really sad when you were like, I have nothing to be pissed off for greatness for today. And I was like, let me go cheer Will up.
I was like 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes before we got on air, I was like, put the fucking shirt on. And I was like, I don't wanna. And she was like, put the fucking shirt on.
Hey, you made the bet.
I did make a stupid fucking bet. I was very intoxicated. And yeah, that wasn't a fair bet to have made. That's all I'm saying.
What was the bet?
That UT was going to somehow upset the #1 team in the nation. So I wore
the Georgia Bulldogs.
So I wore the stupid tank top and the stupid visor for 10 minutes. So there's a clip of me doing it. So that was it. I was very yucky. Not to mention the fact that I'm very sensory when it comes to my clothes. And that was a lady's tank top. And women's clothes have the weirdest fucking seams that feel like spiders are crawling all over you.
I'll have an idea for a shirt.
What?
We have 10 minutes of footage of you. I have an idea for a shirt.
Hi, Jaxbo.
Hi, Matt. What's going on, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
So, where were we at?
Ronda debuts in Ring of Honor. Tony Khan says during the Full Gear media scrum that she is not signed, but they had a great conversation. It came about because there was some unfinished business. What do we think about Ronda making the rounds on the indie scene?
Good for her.
Maybe she'll learn something.
I mean, I saw clips of her wrestling Athena on Twitter. She was doing fun. People were like, where the fuck was this in WWE? And they forget, like, WWE has a style that they like to have for TV. So, like, you can't really just go out there. Black and Gold NXT was different. Like, you can just kind of go out there and do your thing and get over, and it was fun. WWE main TV, like, they want you to do it their way. So, like, Ronda sucks at wrestling the WWE style. It doesn't mean she's absolutely terrible at everything. If she has the right opponent and she can go out there and toss them around and they make her look legit, then yeah, cool. So as long as she's doing her thing, like not on my TV, I have no problem with it. Like, go have fun, hang out with your friends.
Not on your TV.
Bo, do you have an opinion before I mouth off?
I mean, if it's a one-off, I'm okay with it being on Ring of Honor. Actually, I think it's kind of cool it was on Ring of Honor and not on actual TV. Like, that's all I have. But go ahead. I'm waiting for it.
Surprisingly, I don't have anything bad to say about Ronda. My biggest takeaway was that the entire time she was in the WWE, she worked fewer matches than Roman Reigns, which has only worked 11 times this year. She somehow managed to do exactly what I said she needed to do. And I said to do reps. Go out there and wrestle. And that's what she's doing. She's having fun. She's wrestling when she wants to wrestle with who she wants to wrestle with. And I feel like that's obviously going to make her happy about doing the job, right? I mean, she was miserable in WWE because her only friend there was Shayna. None of her other friends could get over. Marina got hired in AEW. So their whole like group got broken up. And then when she left and Shayna got bigger than she was in WWE, it bothered her. But now she's happy again. So I'm good. Good for Shayna. Good for Shayna. Rhonda. Whoever it is.
Good for Shayna too.
Matt looked away and I put
Got
my
over.
shirt on. Katie looked away and Matt's here without a shirt on.
Buff Bagwell was arrested on Thursday, November 15th, according to the Georgia Gazette and News 4 Jacksonville. No free shout-outs. The news outlets listed mugshots and notes. Speeding while under the influence of drugs and alcohol was the charge. Is Buff his own worst enemy?
Yes.
My question is like, I thought he was living with DDP and like they're doing the whole thing. Like, where is DDP?
I have no idea.
Can't watch him all the time. He is a grown adult.
He is a grown adult.
Is he?
I will
Yeah, I'm
say-
other than that. Is he? And I said it.
We have worked with Buff a few times at a couple of different indie shows. And I will tell you that, like, he is one of the kindest human beings, like, I've met. Like, he's so nice. Like, I hate this for him because he's been working so hard to try to, like, get his shit together. I just, like, it sucks.
It's really unfortunate to see somebody who struggles with drugs and alcohol, because I know how tough it is to do that. I've had friends go through addiction, and I've had friends that have lost their lives to addiction. So when I see people who can't control themselves when they do it, it's really tough. And I agree with what you said. I do think he is his own worst enemy, 100%, because he seems to get on that straight and narrow, and then he'll have a relapse, and then he'll get in the straight and narrow, and he'll have a relapse. And I feel like he's on the same pattern that, say, a Jeff Hardy was on. You know what I mean? And I think it's only a matter of time before Buff hurts himself or someone major if he doesn't finally buckle down and decide he wants to get better. Because that's the biggest thing in this situation is the person has to want to get better, not the people around them.
Yeah, no, I
That's a
agree.
true statement, by the way, Will. Thank you.
I will say that 23 hours ago, Buff did tweet, still sober despite the reports. Unfortunately, whenever I get a violation in the DUI court program, it lists my original offenses from 3 years ago. I did serve 24 hours for losing my temper Thursday to Friday, and I'm working on keeping my cool every day. So he's saying that he was not under the influence.
The Georgia Gazette said he was, though. So this is a tit for tat kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, this is him. Even if he wasn't, and he was mad enough that he got into an altercation to get arrested, people are going to think you were under the influence if you have. Even if you weren't and you have an alcohol problem or a history on your track record, people are going to think that you did that.
Yeah.
Listen, nothing against Buff Bagwell, right? Like, I honestly have no issues with Buff Bagwell. I do find it amusing that he went from professional wrestling to being a gigolo on TV to doing whatever the fuck he's doing now. We saw it with Tammy, Sunny, whatever you want to call her. When you get into these sort of things, we're probably going to see with Riddle. When you get into these sort of things and these environments, it leads to a lot of negative outcomes, getting arrested, in Tammy's case, murdering someone, drug addiction, things like that. It runs rampant in these circles. So once you start getting into these circles, you become more susceptible to it. I really do hope that DDP can help him like he did Jake and, everyone else. And that would be great. I'd love to see that for him, but we'll see what happens. And like Katie said, don't want him ending up like Sonny, but
Yeah.
I'm sure someone will shave his balls for him in prison too. So like there is that.
His coin purse.
The
Yes, coin purse.
DDP Yoga Studio YouTube posted a video like talking with Buff, and they're saying that he is sober, but I guess like his arrest, like he was speeding, and I guess him getting arrested for speeding is a violation of his like DUI court stuff, so that's why they took him in. So I guess he was in violation of that, not necessarily
A violation because of, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Fair enough.
but that happened twice now this year.
That's tough.
Pulled over for speeding twice and then taken in because of the violation to his DUI stuff. So, SmackDown clears 2 million in the ratings on Friday, and Collision hits a median of 396,000. Less uproar from the IWC this go around. Was it over before it even started? I think that they didn't advertise Collision enough for Friday. Like, I had no idea until you told me that Collision was on Friday.
Same. I happened to see some people tweeting about it. And I was like, oh shit, this is a thing. Let's do it.
I found out a couple hours beforehand that Collision was on at the same time, and I tweeted about it because I even then said it surprises me that the IWC didn't make a bigger uproar about it, because when it was NXT versus AEW, people were losing their minds about it. Then it comes to Collision versus SmackDown, and people were like, oh. Katie says she didn't watch either live. Tommy as well.
I watched both.
We did watch both. I don't think it was ever a contest, though. Collision's never, other than their debuts, never hit a million viewers, and SmackDown averages between 2 and 2.5. Like, there wasn't even a chance. Like, even on their best night, I don't think they would have. But SmackDown's been around for what, 20 years?
I don't know. I feel like that they could have done more to let us know. Like, they did all these things against NXT. Like, why wouldn't you do this same against SmackDown, especially when you have a pay-per-view the next day? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but Tony Khan doesn't make a whole lot of sense 90% of the time. So,
Bo, AJ wants to know, how was the hockey game?
Fantastic. Both parts of it were fantastic. The hockey game and the afterwards shenanigans.
What happened afterwards? Are you gonna elaborate or?
Oh, I consisted to
Yeah. How was after the hockey game, Bo? What
it was
you
very
do?
fun. We went to Waffle House. Tommy knows apparently everyone at this Waffle House we went to. Like they're all like family to Tommy. We went and saw a buddy's band play. This is totally off subject.
Did one of Tommy's family members touch you inappropriately, Bo?
There was no inappropriate touching last night, sir.
Show me on the doll where they touched you.
Fucking hate Chucky. Why would I know you'd be the one that has a Chucky doll?
To be fair, my daughter was in here as I was setting up for getting off, and she saw it and she goes, Chucky, and she went and grabbed it, and she goes, why does he have owies all over him? And I'm like, because Andy's a bitch.
why does he have owies all over him? That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever heard. WrestleMania weekend. All the usual suspects are reporting WWE will be opening as much of the arena as possible ahead of the week's worth of shows. They plan to fit as many fans in as possible without costing too much of production. Cool. They should do that regardless, I think. Like, I don't, like, this is news, but it's like, shouldn't you do that already?
I think that, and this is me going with my old school heart here, I think that it's best when they run with smaller production and larger like crowd size. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a better route to go with a live wrestling show, in my opinion.
Yeah. Top Dollar says the heat between him and Michael Cole was all at work. They were working an angle towards a match. AJ would toss Cole around, but Cole would get the sneaky win in a roll-up. Any stock in this? Are you curious where any of you curious where Mr. Francis lands when his non-compete is up? I think he goes to AEW to be a Swerve.
Is Jim Cornette still running anything? It sounds like you might. From what I hear, him and Jim Cornette are like besties, and they might work together soon. Or I don't know.
Dude.
Why would we want to fucking like who? Seriously, anyone in the comments, anyone watching live right now, anyone anywhere, who the fuck wants to see Michael Cole wrestle another match?
Not me.
Put your hand down, Jacksonville. Thank you. Like, why did they think? Like, I get yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Like, I get. Oh yeah, you know he's talking shit, blah blah blah. Like, but especially at his age now, like. Nobody needs to see Michael Cole wrestle anyone ever again. And I definitely don't need it to be like at WrestleMania where I got to hear how Michael Cole is still undefeated at WrestleMania, blah, 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 blah. Like, don't fucking do that to me. Don't do it.
Tommy says he wants another Michael Cole match.
Tommy thinks everywhere is Asia. So, like,
everywhere all at once is Asia.
Tommy, where's the Tokyo Dome at?
Asia. He's not gonna be wrong, Bo.
I mean, do y'all think that anyone's gonna sign Top Dollar?
I think he'll make some rounds on the indies. He might make a couple appearances.
I bet we see him in the NWA. He's, I mean, no worse than Tyrus. So, like,
Y'all don't think he'll go to AEW to be with Swerve?
No.
I don't think he fits.
Yeah.
not only does he not fit, but like Swerve could have stayed with them and gone out on the indies and done their thing. Once they split WWE, like they're like, hey, we're gonna go do the indies and we're gonna blah blah. And Swerve's like, yeah, no, fuck you guys, I'm out. Like, and originally he wasn't supposed to even be part of that group. They added Swerve to that group. It was, I think, those three and maybe one other person, and Swerve was just kind of put in there because, oh, you guys are kind of alike. So I don't really think he fucks with Swerve like that.
Maybe.
He says he doesn't care if Cole's in another match.
Will Ospreay gets a promise ring from Tony Khan, saying that once he breaks up with current girlfriend New Japan, he'll be full tilt towards Revolution and All In come February 2024. Was this intent to sign a big enough deal to warrant what? Was this intent to sign a big enough deal to warrant this kind of commotion?
I know I'm topless, but I'm gonna need you to read. Don't let me distract you. Promise ring. I feel like I've heard that somewhere before. Interesting. No, it wasn't. He's been on TV. This is not a Mercedes Moné. This is not a huge announcement, major like he's been wrestling regularly on AEW. It was either a matter of time or like, okay, cool. Like contract tampering. Now that is a discussion that we should have. I have heard that, New Japan's like, yeah, things aren't going well. I'm not happy either. So, you can start, as we're going through this divorce, you can start looking for a new lover. It's okay. But I don't know.
I don't think he was big enough to warrant the deal because we've seen him like 8 times in AEW this year.
Yeah.
Isn't he technically a part of the Don Callis family anyway?
He is.
Yeah, so I mean, this was just another attempt to get extra eyes on the product, extra buys, and it was a letdown.
Do you think Tony Khan's making a mistake and I say a mistake in the sense that we've seen WWE do this, where they had a working relationship with New Japan or were building towards one, then they signed a bunch of New Japan talent, and New Japan said, fuck you think you buy? Do you think Tony Khan's veering towards that? Because we got Tanahashi, we got Kota Ibushi, we got Jay White, did I say Tanahashi?
Mm-hmm.
Takeshita, and now we've got Will Ospreay coming over. Like AEW just keeps signing all of the top New Japan talent. And as soon as somebody says New Japan, Dirt Sheet Dan shows up out of nowhere.
Hello, Dan.
So is there a chance that AEW could end up hurting their relationship with New Japan because they continue to sign and take talent from their friend promotion, their partner promotion?
I don't feel...
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, in this instant, I don't feel like they're hurting the relationship because it seems like New Japan is kind of ready to get rid of Ospreay, because otherwise they would have not been like, yeah, you can start looking. Like, I mean, you and I were discussing this earlier. Like, he's got John Cena syndrome in New Japan. Like, he's so over, the fans fucking hate him. So, New Japan is ready for him to go.
Dan, this is a question for you in the chat before Matt goes. Is David Finlay leading the Bullet Club the right direction they need to go? Just, I know that's hard for you to answer from the chat because I was wondering with Will Ospreay if that would be the direction they were going. It looks like they're going to go towards Finlay. I'm curious. Matt, what did you think on the Will Ospreay stuff?
Did WCW hurt CMLL or AAA when they signed away all their talent and took them into the cruiserweight division?
Yes.
How bad?
I would say, depending on how you want to look at the way that relationship worked, Eric Bischoff helped AAA by bringing in the relationship for like when Worlds Collide and stuff. In that sense, yes, he helped. But in the fact that once that happened, he signed Psychosis and Eddie and Ray, and he brought all of these guys into the States, which left AAA a new promotion barren. Like a bunch of their stars were gone.
What did they do?
They slowly had to rebuild, and they're still here now, 40 years later, 30 years later. So,
yes, he is, because it's different, and he's giving all those new guys recognition in the Bullet Club. Okay.
Thank you, Dan. That's why. 6 new talent in Bullet Club, and 4 of them were champions within 6 months. See, that's why I knew. You mentioned New Japan, and Dan just shows up.
My point is, taking that talent from New Japan, like New Japan is still the WWE of Japan. Like,
for sure.
Even losing that talent, and Bakley said they've been developing a bunch of new young talent, so they're okay letting go. They're gonna be okay. Like, they're not gonna have your Okadas, and I'll say their names properly since I'm here and I need to sound intelligent. They might not have those guys going forward, but they'll rebuild. They'll start from the ground. They're not going to go out of business. It's not like AEW is killing their business. Like, they're still going to be New Japan and fucking New Japan, just like AAA is still AAA and blah, blah, blah. Like, internationally, yeah, it might hurt them a little bit because now, like, people overseas might not be like, oh, I know these guys and I want to go watch them, other than like the diehard New Japan fans. But like, it is what it is.
What would you think about Ospreay coming on?
I think he's a champion within a year.
Do you think he wins it at All In, or do they give it to him before then and he goes home champion?
Like an international champion, or
he's some form of champion within a year.
Tag champ, maybe.
He's the TBS. No.
I mean, look at the great runs he's had in New Japan with the mid-card titles.
He's also been an IWGP heavyweight champion.
He has been, but he's not necessarily. He necessarily doesn't. He's not a. I don't see Will Ospreay as the belt doesn't make him as a wrestler. He makes that belt, and doesn't matter what belt you give him in AEW, he's going to make that belt something and worth chasing. I'd give him the international to start.
That sounds good. That's a good start.
Then let him tour. Then let him do what Pac did and tour with it for a little bit. Stay home base. Fly him home. You got the money to fly him back every week. But let him do indies internationally with that belt and make it an international belt.
Yeah. Just a few more things here. Brogan, Finlay, and Jay Malachi were both spotted at the WWE Performance Center recently, says PW Insider. They expected to have signed deals with the company. I don't know who Jay Malachi is, and is this Finlay any correlation to the other Finlay?
He's the youngest of Fit Finlay's kids.
How many kids does Fit Finlay have?
Like 50s, Irish. All they do is, farm potatoes and fuck. I can say that I'm Irish.
How dare you?
What?
Oh, it's true.
I was about to say, what was just that was nothing discriminatory about that. That's 100% facts.